The middle class needs to humble itself because it's going away. And it's going to be very painful for those people who still classify as middle class. It's going to be hard for them to accept because they were told that companies actually needed them. Once people realize that job security does not exist, I think they're starting to wake up. These layoffs, these redundancies, these just um, hair trigger firings. Yeah, they can fire you at any time, but if you leave, you need to give them 2 weeks. Yeah, bullshit. Once people started realizing that this mass layoff, I don't understand how people didn't learn from 2008. People were getting laid off every single way, shape, or form. And I personally believe that the economy never recovered from 2008. And since then, we have been running what I call the weekend at Bernie's. This is a zombie economy in which I have no idea how this is running because the economy, we are billions of dollars in debt. It's insane. I don't know how you can have an economy in which people's debt to debt to income ratio is goddamn 200% in Canada, anyways. In America, it's close to 200%, probably over 150%. How on earth can you still have a phantom economy in which these people still are able to go out and just kind of splurge on credit cards? And I don't know how they're getting by. I think they're not. I think they're just spending away, hoping it'll just work out. And this is the delusional thinking. Like, are you serious? And I think the middle class spending into oblivion is what's driving the economy. And the middle class needs to understand your job is disposable as well. It took them a while, and it took a while longer for the top 1% to show that, hey, the middle class is disposable. Your Google jobs, disposable. Your IT tech jobs, disposable. Customer service used to be a middle class job. Being a banker. Remember when banking used to be a sure thing? You just had a job for life, even as a bank teller? Well, that job is going away. That job's almost gone. In fact, they're closing down bank branches. TD announced that they're closing down bank branches. Who would have thunk? I feel like in my very heart of hearts, I know people don't want to accept this, and it's hard because it's a personal attack on people who've made their profession their identity. People like lawyers, doctors, nurses, believe it or not, what they're going to start doing is they're going to have less and less staff, and it's going to be kind of like your bottom tier staff that's going they're going to start having more work, and they're going to take the larger overhead, the actual people who are actually qualified, like nurses. They're going to have a nurse aide instead. They're going to have something like that. It's not going to be the nurse themselves. It's going to be a lesser position. They already did it. Let me give you an example. Right now, another bubble is the education bubble. Technology and education, university education, I can tell you, is going to go away. It's already started. When I was going to university, they had all these learning aids and teacher assistants. And it was like every time you notice, there was less and less and less professors. There's all these learning aids or somebody who isn't a teacher but close enough. Didn't go to school to be a teacher, but went close enough, and now they're teaching a course. It's insane how everything is starting to just be encroached, and it's just worse and worse and worse. And Gen Alpha might not even be able to get into the workforce because they are going to be they might be so linguistically challenged that it might not be possible to put them in charge of anything. They might not even be able to communicate. So I just find it fascinating that we have an entire society in which the people who pay the most, which is the middle class, are getting eliminated, and they're also they're also the ones that pay into the most of all these benefits. This is not a very good thing. And I personally believe that the top 1% have completely committed to the idea that North America, America and Canada is kind of a write off. There's no way you can convince me that they have not packed these the top 1% have not either packed their bags and are moving to another developing country to see if they can try to make some money over there, because I think they think North America is a complete wrap. Now that the destruction of Canada and the United States is almost complete, and there's nothing left to take. They might just wrap it up and get their little golden parachutes and leave, because this economy, the way it is, has been unraveling for years. Many jobs, even jobs that people think that are middle class, they're going to go away. Being a real estate agent, let's be honest, real estate agent selling a car, these jobs can go away once they decide that the middlemen that kind of guard these jobs are no longer, we can just get rid of them. They're trying to do it in every single sector. CarMax, or was it? Yeah, if you can buy directly from a person instead of a dealership, it eliminates that job. And like I said, as somebody who did go to university but didn't complete it, I can tell you that I just noticed more and more people were teaching the courses online remotely, and it was bullshit. It's bullshit remote online learning with a person who's not a professor. Anything to save a couple dollars. And customer service is gone. Being a bank teller is going away. They're closing. They're going to be closing more bank branches. And the jobs that, again, I'm going to repeat it, the jobs that you think that cannot be replaced will be going away. Like being a lawyer, being a server. Now, physically demanding jobs that need a person, construction, they'll be around for a little bit longer. Being a plumber, they'll be around for a little longer. And all these jobs where say, you learn a trade, learn a trade. Your trade job is going to last a little bit longer, but eventually they're going to find a way to replace that as well. And my theory is the top 1% have already written off the North American population as completely redundant. And that's why you see them transferring all these factories to other third world countries, because they're trying to start afresh. They're looking at a fresh market of people who are starting to make a little bit more money, and they're going to start polluting and destroying the environment, of course, of these other countries. And uh, they need a developing population. They don't need a population that is kind of weak. The North American population is weak, and weak as in they don't really want to work as hard as they need to. Um, they work as hard at just enough, and they don't like that. Companies don't like people who actually do their job and leave. They need slaves, and they don't like the personality. That's why I personally believe they started as a test. They were testing the waters with the foreigners coming in to pick fruit and just seasonal work, bullshit. They were testing that. It's because they need that cheap labor that's desperate enough. And North Americans don't want to be that desperate. They're pretty desperate, but they're not desperate enough to want to pick fruit for nothing. So be prepared. I hope the middle class humble itself and understand that no job is safe. Every For me personally, when I talk about the lawyer thing, I am 100% willing to go to an AI lawyer. You know why? Because the AI lawyer, or an AI doctor, mind you, has a vast wealth of all of the information we have inputted. And if it can give me an accurate defense or a prognosis for, like, I'll pay it like $2,000 or $3,000 a couple months if I had a case, prepare my case. And if it could give me a rigorous defense or give me a prognosis about my health, an educated guess, I would rather take that over an exhausted doctor who's seen, I don't know, 50 other patients today. So, anyways, in conclusion, I think people need to humble themselves. People need to spend less and be prepared for the absolute worst, because it's coming.